This next passage, like so many in the Quran, makes no sense without the context of the Hadith.
Quran 9 verse 40. If you help him not, your leader Muhammad, it is no matter, for Allah did indeed help him when the unbelievers drove him out, the second of two when they were in the cave, and he said, Be not sad, for Allah is with us. Then Allah sent down His Shekinah and strengthened him with angelic army forces, which you saw not, and humbled to the depths the word of the unbelievers.
Following the satanic verse fiasco, Muhammad had to flee Mecca in shame. On the way out of town, he and Abu Bakr had to hide in a cave for fear the Meccans would find them. So Allah is saying that He protected them with an army of killer angels. Speaking of killers, in Quran Surah 9, verse 41, we find,
March forth, equipped with light or heavy arms, and strive with your goods and your lives in the cause of Allah. That is best for you if you knew.
But there were too many bad Muslims in the Prophet's company who were unwilling to kill for him, unless, of course, it was an easy kill and the booty was plentiful. They were mercenaries, after all.
Quran 9, verse 42. O Prophet, had there been an immediate gain, in sight with booty in front of them, and the journey easy, a near adventure, they would all without doubt have followed you. But the distance was long on them. They would indeed swear, If we only could, we would have come out with you. They cause their own souls to perish, for Allah knows they are liars.
According to Allah, peaceful Muslims are liars. In this series of verses, Allah is speaking about the terrorist raid Muhammad led against the Byzantine Christians at Tabuk. Unfortunately for Islam's credibility, the surah preceded the raid by more than a year, and hadith are required to unravel what the Quran is actually saying.
Quran 9, verse 43. May Allah forgive you, Muhammad. Why did you grant them leave for remaining behind? You should have persisted with your order to them to proceed on jihad, until those who told the truth were seen by you in a clear light, and you had known the liars.
Speaking of liars, we've just caught Muhammad in the act. If God were dictating the Quran, He would not say,
May Allah forgive you. Quran 9:44. Those who believe in Allah and the Last Day do not ask for an exemption from fighting with your goods and persons, and Allah knows well those who do their duty.
All good Muslims are terrorists. Allah just said so. Bad Muslims, on the other hand, just make excuses.
Quran 9:45. Only those ask for an exemption from jihad who believe not in Allah, and whose hearts are in doubt, so that they are tossed to and fro. If they had intended to march out and fight, they would certainly have made some preparations and readied their equipment. But Allah was averse to their being sent forth, so He made them lag behind. Sit you among those who sit. If they had marched with you, they would not have added to your strength, but only made for discord, spying, and sowing sedition. There would have been some in your midst who would have listened to them. But Allah knows well those
peace-loving Muslims
who do wrong and are wicked.
More than anything, Allah hated peace. Still rebuking pacifist Muslims, the 48th verse says,
They had plotted sedition before, and upset matters for you until the decree of Allah
to fight
became manifest, much to their disgust. Among them are many who say, Grant me exemption to stay back at home, exempted from jihad, and do not tempt me
with promises of booty.
Have they not fallen into temptation already? Indeed, hell surrounds them.
Muhammad was tempting Muslims to fight for him. Those he couldn't seduce, Allah condemned, desperate to beguile his troops.
Quran 9:52. say, "Can you expect for us any fate other than one of two glorious things, martyrdom or victory? But can we expect for you that Allah will send His punishment of doom from Himself or by our hands? Say, pay your contribution for the cause willingly or unwillingly, for you are indeed rebellious and wicked."
Fight, or I will kill you myself, is the message of the Islamic God. But since Allah couldn't kill, He opted to have good Muslims kill the bad ones. After saying that He was going to take their money,
willingly or unwillingly,
Islam's deceitful spirit now claims, in the 54th verse,
the only reasons why their contributions are not accepted are that they reject Allah and His Messenger, that they come to prayer sluggishly, that they offer their contributions unwillingly.
Here's the bottom line. The peaceful Muslims were unwilling to fund jihad. So rather than admit defeat, Muhammad said, "I don't want their money anyway." But he couldn't help himself. He just had to lash out at those who withheld the funds he needed to perpetrate his reign of terror. As we have learned, terrorism isn't cheap. It's no coincidence that the richest Islamic regimes manufacture the most terrorists. Next we learned that Muhammad was
dazzled by wealth,
and
Allah's plan is to punish. Quran 9:55. Let not their wealth nor their following in sons dazzle you or excite your admiration, Muhammad. In reality, Allah's plan is to punish them with these things in this life and make certain that their souls perish in their denial of Allah. They swear that they are indeed with you, but they are not. They do not want to appear in their true colors because they are afraid of you.
They were
afraid
of the Prophet because he was a terrorist. The bad, peace-loving Muslims knew that Muhammad's militants would attack them, as they had the Jews, stealing their property, torturing them, raping them, enslaving them, and killing them. It's stunning that the Quran would admit that Muslims were afraid of Muhammad. But then again, tyrants the world over have always been the same.
He who fears will obey.
If you think this interpretation is too harsh, consider the following hadith.
Bukhari. The Prophet said, "No prayer is harder for the hypocrites than the Fajr." If they knew the reward, they would come to the mosque, even if they had to crawl. Certainly I decided to order a man to lead the prayer and then to take a flame to burn all those who had not left their houses for the prayer, burning them alive inside their homes.
The Prophet's message was, obey and pay, or you'll burn.
Bukhari. The Prophet said, "Protect yourself from the fire." He turned his face aside as if he were looking at it and said, "Protect yourself from the fire." And he turned his face aside as if he were looking at it, and he said for the third time, till we thought he was actually looking at it, "Protect yourself from the fire." Bukhari. The Prophet said, "All of you will be questioned by Allah on the day of doom. There will be no interpreter between you and Allah, and the hell fire will confront you. So whoever among you can, save yourself from the fire."
Muhammad has once again put Allah in hell. Slandering and threatening his own, Allah says,
Quran 9:57. If they could find a place to flee to, a cave or hole to hide, they would run away with an obstinate rush. And some slander you, blaming you of partiality in the matter of the distribution of the offerings,
of stolen spoils.
If they are given part of these, they are pleased, but if not, they are indignant and enraged.
The first Muslims were bickering over booty.